Good morning. It is a beautiful morning here. Sun's bright and shiny, but we've had a great week, a different kind of a week. We had two saved early in the week, and for that we're very thankful. That was at Betania, and we went to our churches to start to do the services on Sunday, but Gladys was sick, so we couldn't go there. We ended up going to Santa Rosa, and the delegate was not available for service there, so we drove back. Then we picked up Maurice and went to Betania. And we had visited, like I say, in Betania 2 days this week, trying to get ready and advertise, handing out flyers and doing different things that we can do to get people interested in coming to the services. Well, we went around the neighborhood with the loudspeaker and announcing that we were going to be doing services at the house, and got to John and Teresa's house. Now, those that have been following us on YouTube will remember John and Teresa. Their last name is Baptista, or John the Baptist, and so we led them to the Lord when the group from my supporting church, my home church, came down, and we were in Betania. There was a large group of us, and we visited the area. Well, John and Teresa were two of the ones that I led to the Lord there on that day in the village. And we have been following up, doing, I've been to their house numerous times, following up with discipleship. We actually covered many of the steps of discipleship with them. And of course, John has trouble with drinking. We announced that, and you've been praying for him for his alcohol problem. He seems to be doing maybe a little better with that. But when we visited, Teresa and some of the kids had been to our service the first time there in Betania that we had it. They haven't been back. And so we went by trying to get, just see if they were interested, we'd pick them up and so forth. And when we pulled up, Teresa, I noticed her jump up out of the hammock and run to the back of the house and out the back. So I walked around to the back and said, "Hello, Teresa." She's always been very cordial. And John came up and started telling us something, and I asked for Maurice to come up because he was speaking so rapidly that I was not able to follow what he's saying. So Maurice came up to talk to him, and I continued to talk to Teresa, who had come back around the house a little. And I said, "Are you ready to go to church?" And she threw her hands up and said, "No, like this." And I thought it very odd. Found out that the Catholic Church had made a visit to John and Teresa's house because they had found out or knew that they were coming to our church, and they had threatened them. They told them that we were preaching heresy and that they would be cursed if they continued to go there, and God would be very displeased with them. And they actually threatened them there in the village. Of course, it's a Catholic village, and we knew that, with, I want to say sanctions, but that's probably not the right word. They would have problems in all of the village if they continued to come to the services. So it was a very disheartening thing. It was our first contact, or really exposure with the Catholic Church. Before, if you remember, in Tuzik, it was the shaman. We didn't have very much problem with the Catholic Church, but this time it was the Catholic Church itself. And of course, the priest that is the acting priest there in the village, he owns one of the stores there that the people have to interact with and buy supplies from. So apparently they have threatened them very strongly not to have anything to do with us. So it could be interesting over the next several weeks of our visiting in Betania. So I need to ask for prayer. Please pray. I feel as though we're standing in the eye of a storm here with some of the things that are going on. So the only thing that I know of that will break through that is prayer. Nothing that I have to say, nothing that Pablo has to say that can really break through that. We're just doing and being faithful at what God wants. So please pray for Maurice, for Pablo, for myself, for my wife, because she's got to put up with me, and all those things. As we stand in the eye of the storm, please pray that God will break through there in Betania.